This is Simon Ward for Tri 24/7 and I'm joined by Half Ironman UK 70.3 winner Fraser Cartmel for the second year in a row. So Fraser, can you just tell us about your race today?
Yeah, I mean, took the swim out hard. Blair led me to the first buoy and we were moving pretty quick, and the idea was to try and get a gap in the other guys, which we didn't really do because I had a little look, and certainly Brian was there might have been one or two others, but at that point I hit the front and just felt comfortable, so I was happy to stay there. Usually I like to be second or third and get a little bit of draft, but no, it felt good, and on the last leg of the triangle I really started to dig in a little bit and had a look when I hit the beach, and there was a bit of a gap, so I ran hard, got through transition and just got on the bike and hoped I had a good gap, which I seemed to do, and yeah, basically just rode hard, tried to ride hard as I could, but I had a little bit of issues with my bike and that my saddle was pretty loose, so I didn't actually manage to get out of the saddle for the whole course, which is kind of a nightmare on that course because it's so hilly. Luckily I'd put a 27 on, so I thought ahead, and that allowed me to spin relatively comfortable while staying in the saddle. But it's pretty hard not being able to get out of the saddle, stretch your lower back, your glutes and your hamstrings, they tighten up. So I was worried about how I would feel on the run. You know, I wondered if that would have some implications, but I felt really good straight away on the run, and that was crucial with Stephen running as well as he was, because he was moving, and he had a really good second transition, and I was gapped by I'd say 20 seconds, and I thought, well, actually that's probably it. I'm probably not going to see him again, but I felt really good straight away. Really had no real fatigue that I've had in other half Ironmans, and I really thought, well, might as well try and catch him up. So I did that within the first mile, which was quite a lot of time to take out of him, and I actually assumed the lead at that point because he dropped back on the hill, and that tended to be the way the rest of the run played out. I'd run up the hills well, and then Stephen would take good chunks of time out of me down them, and on each lap there's one significant downhill. It's pretty steep and it's on tarmac.
Is that going down to the dam?
Down to the dam. It's really steep. I'd like to know how steep actually. And Stephen tried to break me every lap, and on the third lap he actually got a really good gap on me, and I had to work like a bear to catch him up on the dam, because I knew if I didn't that would be it. I knew he'd just gradually pull away, and I'd already decided in my mind pretty much at the end of the first lap that the only place I was probably going to have a chance was in the very final hill, right back up to the finish. So, you know, that was it. I decided to sneak in behind him and try and get an element of surprise, and I just put on, I just went for it really early in the hill, because I thought if he's not running as well as me in the hills, I need as much of the hill as I can get, and hope I hang on. It's actually quite a long hill, and then you've got the finish chute as well, and it was quite hard to figure if I got a gap or not, because it's really busy at that point in the run with all the other age groupers. Camera bike was right behind me, and it was I just didn't know where he was, and it was quite nerve-wracking. Only when I pretty much got to the finish did I know I'd won. I'm really pleased though, because I had really focused on this race as the first half of my year, and to win it's fantastic. Defending especially is pretty special.
Absolutely. It's always good to have somebody from the home nations that wins the home race.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I am disappointed Macca didn't come. That was the build-up. I raced him for the first time last month in California, and he is just such an awesome athlete, and I had really, that was my focus. To try and beat Macca would be phenomenal. I didn't really think I could, but I was going to give it a good shot, and I guess just using that same mindset today, I know he wasn't there, but people like Stephen, Brian Rose, Luke Bell was still lurking, and I thought, that's a phenomenal athlete. I almost pretend that Macca's there, even though I know he's not, because I got to try and pull something special at the bag if I'm going to outrun Stephen. And I'm blown away by my runs, but apparently it was 1:14.
New course record, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if it's the same distance as last year.
I think it is, yeah. I mean, whatever they said, that was the year that Macca got his bike stolen, so he wasn't riding a familiar bike. But whatever, your name's going to be there on the list.
But in terms of my time last year, I don't like to compare times in races, but this course is pretty much, I think it's identical to last year. The swim, I guess you never know the swim, but yeah, it's about, 8 minutes faster than I went last year, which is quite a chunk of time.
Yeah.
So that bodes well.
So you said that was what you focused for the first half of the season. So where do you go from here?
November is Clearwater World Champs, so that is my 7th last year. That was a really good performance for me, and pretty much let me believe that I can be competitive at the world level in 70.3s. So I want to go back, and to go back and do well there, I need to be running fast. It's a pancake flat course, so I am pleased that I'm starting to get some running form.
Yeah,
because I'll need it.
Okay, and have you got any more races planned between now and then?
Yeah, I mean, I'll certainly race, but I'm not sure where. I might go and race in America. There's 70.3s everywhere. It's just whether I decide to do more 70.3s or actually back off and do maybe shorter stuff. I would like to try something longer as well, but I don't know. You know, I thought about World Long Course because it's an intermediate distance, but I probably won't. Yeah, I just would like the idea of trying something longer, but the worry is that once you start going longer than half, it takes so much time out of you to recover. So we'll have a think.
So do you? Because I know you started off with the guys on the performance squad and you were racing the ITU circuit, but do you see this as being your future now?
Yeah, absolutely. I just can't run quick enough to try and do the short course stuff. Even Olympic distance non-drafting is still going to be a challenge for me because those guys still run fast. Yeah. And ultimately, I do think I want to just be a non-drafting athlete. And you know, for races like Clearwater or shorter Olympic and other non-drafting events, my run has to pick up. So that's the plan. I mean, I enjoyed the ITU stuff, but we've got such depth in the UK that if you can't run quick, there's almost no point because you're not competitive even in the UK, and it's so hard at World Cup level. The top end run speed perhaps isn't getting any quicker, but the depth of guys that can run within a minute 15 of that is just getting huge. So struggling to get in the top 30 is not really something I want to do.
When you see people like Alistair coming along at 19 and
Alistair's phenomenal,
leapfrogging everybody,
and Will and Ollie and everyone else, and old guys like Tim and AJ, they're just, I'll say old, but they've been around so long, they're so experienced, but they can run really fast. Yeah. And you need to be able to. So I'm not fooling myself into believing that maybe it'll suddenly happen, because it won't. But I can run strong, and I think I proved that today.
Okay, so just a quick question to finish off, Fraser. We asked Scott a little while ago to give the triathletes out there that love the statistics and the data a little idea of your training. How many hours do you do per week? How's that divided between swim, bike and run? So can you give us the stats there briefly?
If I'm doing a hard week and there's no racing at the end of it or travel to interrupt, then I aim to swim 20 to 22 Ks. So generally 5, sometimes 6 swims. I don't generally like to swim more than 5k, and there'll be 2 solid swims in there. If I'm working on the bike, which I have done over the last month, I'll ride quite a lot. I've been riding up to 600 Ks a week, and that in America, which nice road surfaces and warm weather, that was taking, I think it was about 20 hours of riding. Okay. But that was maximum. I mean, between 400 and 600. So certainly 14, 15 through to 20 on the bike. And running, I like to get sort of 7 hours of running done. If that's nice and flat running, then that might be 100 Ks. I use a Garmin now. That's a great toy. I didn't have one last year, but I really now like to know how many Ks I'm running and at what pace. I think it's been really crucial in me managing to run better at the half Ironman, because generally, not today, it's a time trial, and to be able to slot into a pace is something that's worked well for me. So the Garmin's really helped me out, especially by letting me see how far I'm running in training sessions and also what sort of pace I'm doing as an average. So yeah, about 7 hours of running, up to, if I'm up to 100 Ks, but at least 80. So if it's a good week, then there'll be 30 hours of training or more.
It's not far off what the Ironman guys are doing.
No, but I can't handle any more. That for me, and I can't really sustain that for more than 3 weeks. So 2 to 3 weeks of that, and then there'll be a recovery week.
Okay, so just having a look at your shirt there, Fraser. Total Racing Inc. Is that your business now?
It's a really good. Yeah, we've got a new team, and it's Newcastle based. There's a couple of the guys racing here today, and we're using the 2xU range, and I'm riding a Sepo bike, which 2xU are importing in, and we're one of the first sort of guys to be riding on them, and I'm delighted with it. It's a fantastic time trial frame. I haven't seen the road frames, but I'm pretty sure they have them. And yeah, we're basically looking to have a nice spread of elite athletes along with age groupers that'll be at most of the races of the year. They'll be at the national relays as well, which is something they're looking to do well at, and just basically trying to set up another team in the UK that can start to gain some exposure, and people can hopefully be a part of if they want to race at top end age group or aspiring elite or even top end, or want to go all the way.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Best wishes from Tri 24/7 for the rest of the year.
Thanks a lot.
Maybe see you in Clearwater.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fraser.